Hi, my name is Arthur, and this is Broken Australia. If you are about to spend $800 on a new washing machine this weekend, or if you bought one in the last 2 years, I need you to stop what you are doing and watch this first. Because what is sitting inside that shiny new machine at Harvey Norman is not an appliance, it is a countdown timer with a spin cycle. Today, I am going to show you the factory secret that manufacturers do not want Australian consumers to find. The brands that repair technicians across this country beg their own families to avoid, and the one buying rule that will save you thousands over the next decade. What washing machines used to be. I want to start with my grandmother. She lived in a weatherboard house in Ballarat. And for as long as I can remember, she had a Simpson washing machine sitting in her laundry, cream-coloured, boxy. It looked like something you would find on the set of a 1970s television commercial, because it basically was. That machine ran from 1974 until 2006, 32 years. One machine. I actually remember asking her once if it had ever broken down, and she looked at me like I had asked something deeply strange. She said it needed a new belt once in 1989, and the repairman charged her $12. I think about that number constantly. It is one of those things I find myself randomly thinking about at 2 in the morning, and it just refuses to leave me. Here is why machines like that lasted. The drums were split-tub designs with replaceable bearings. You could pull out the bearing, walk into any hardware store, buy a replacement for next to nothing, and get another 10 years out of the machine. The outer tubs were stainless steel or enamel-coated metal. The parts were universal enough that a repair technician could source them years, sometimes decades, after the model launched. And the motors were direct and simple, not smart, not connected to Wi-Fi, not capable of sending you a notification on your phone, just a motor doing its job every single day for 30 years without complaint. That era is gone. And the way it ended is not an accident. The factory secret, what actually changed. I will be honest. When I first started researching this, I assumed the decline in washing machine quality was just a vague, general kind of corner cutting. You know, cheaper plastics here, thinner metal there. The kind of thing that just happens gradually when nobody is paying attention. I was wrong. I went down such a deep rabbit hole on this that my wife had to physically come into the study at 11:30 at night and tell me to go to bed. Because what I found was not vague at all. It was 3 very specific, very deliberate engineering decisions. And once you know what they are, you cannot walk into an appliance store without seeing them everywhere. The first is the sealed drum assembly. Older machines had what engineers call a split tub design. The drum sat in 2 separable halves. When the bearings failed, and bearings always fail, eventually a technician could open the tub, pull the bearing, replace it for somewhere between $50 and $100, and the machine was good for another decade. Starting in the late 1990s and accelerating through the 2000s, manufacturers switched to sealed drum assemblies. The bearings are now permanently molded into the outer tub. They are not designed to be replaced. They are designed to fail as a unit. When the bearing goes, the repair quote comes back at somewhere between $500 and $1,000 because you are not replacing a bearing. You are replacing the entire drum assembly. Most Australians look at that number, do the maths against the cost of a new machine, and walk straight back into Harvey Norman, which is exactly what the manufacturer was counting on. I personally think this is the most underrated part of the story.
It is not sloppy engineering, it is precise engineering. They designed the failure point, they costed the repair, and they priced the new machine to sit just below the point where repair makes rational sense. The second change is the outer tub material. The tub you can see, the inner drum, is still stainless steel because you look at it when you load your clothes. The outer tub, the one that actually holds the water, the one hidden behind the casing that you will never once look at in your life, used to be stainless steel too. Now it is plastic, lighter, cheaper, and it cracks. Not immediately, not in the first year, but under the constant thermal cycling of hot and cold water over 5 to 6 years, it cracks. A cracked outer tub is not a repairman job, it is a new machine conversation. The third change is parts availability. This one genuinely made me put my notes down and just sit with it for a minute. Many manufacturers now discontinue replacement parts for a model as few as 3 to 5 years after it launches. Not 10 years, not 15, 3 to 5. So even if you find a repair technician willing to fix your machine, and even if the repair is theoretically possible, the parts simply do not exist. The machine is disposable by design, and the parts supply chain is the mechanism that enforces it. A study out of Norway tracked appliance lifespans across decades and found washing machine lifetimes dropped 45%, from 19.2 years down to just 10.6. No other appliance category came close to that rate of decline. Not fridges, not dishwashers, washing machines specifically. That number should bother every Australian who has ever stood in an appliance store comparing spin speeds. The Australian market is getting the worst of it. Here is what makes this worse for us specifically. And this is the part that I think most people in this country do not fully appreciate. Australia is a small market at the end of a very long supply chain. We import the overwhelming majority of our white goods. We have almost no domestic manufacturing accountability. When a brand sells a dud machine in Germany or the United States, there are class action mechanisms, regulatory bodies with actual teeth, and consumer advocacy organisations that have been fighting these battles for decades. When a brand sells a dud machine in Australia, you get a 1-year warranty, a call centre in the Philippines, and a very sympathetic email telling you that your issue falls outside the coverage terms. I spent 3 hours one afternoon pulling repair and return data from Australian consumer forums, independent appliance repair technicians, and Choice Magazine's long-term reliability surveys. The pattern was so consistent, it was almost boring. The brands flooding the Australian market at the $600 to $900 price point are the same brands that repair technicians in Brisbane, Melbourne, and Perth have been warning their own families away from for years. We are not getting the well-built versions. We are getting the versions designed for markets where nobody expects them to last. The brand breakdown, who to avoid, let me name names. Because I think the vague advice to do your research that gets handed out on these topics is genuinely useless, and I am not interested in giving it. Samsung. In 2016, Samsung recalled 2.8 million top-load washing machines internationally after hundreds of reports that the machine tops were physically detaching from the chassis mid-cycle. 9 injuries were reported. Samsung later settled a class action. Beyond the recall, repair technicians across Australia consistently flag Samsung as one of the most difficult brands to service. Parts are hard to source locally, independent repair shops frequently decline to work on them, and once you are outside the warranty window, you are largely on your own. I have spoken to repair technicians who will not take Samsung jobs as a matter of business policy because the parts availability is so unreliable that they cannot guarantee a finished repair. Haier and its sub-brands. This one is personal, and I will explain why in a moment. Haier is a Chinese multinational that has quietly absorbed a significant chunk of the Australian appliance market. They own or license brands that sound familiar and local. The machines are priced to move. They are priced to move because the components inside them are specified to a price point, not a lifespan. The bearing quality, the tub material, the motor design, all of it reflects a machine built to clear a warranty inspection, not to survive a decade of Australian laundry. My parents bought a machine in this category about 4 years ago. I am not going to say exactly which brand because I do not want my mum watching this and ringing me. It needed a service call in the second year. The repair technician told them the sealed drum bearing was already showing wear. The machine was 22 months old. I called my mum after I started researching this episode because I knew she had lived through exactly this. She was not surprised, she was just tired. The budget tier at the major retailers, the machines sitting at the $900 and below price point at Harvey Norman, The Good Guys and Big W. Look, I have nothing personal against Harvey Norman. Actually, that's not true. I have several things personal against Harvey Norman, but that is a different episode entirely. The point is that the floor-level machines at these retailers are sourced from manufacturers whose entire design brief is to hit a retail price point. Common issues include poor cleaning performance, faulty sensors triggering error codes, and service calls before the machine reaches its third birthday. If you are spending $700 on a machine that needs a $250 repair call in year 2, you have not saved anything. You have just spread the pain out over a longer period. The warranty rule. I want to give you one rule, one line that you can carry into any appliance store in Australia and use it to immediately sort the machines worth buying from the machines that are expensive disposables. Check the warranty, check the drum. If a washing machine comes with a 1-year parts and labor warranty, the manufacturer is not being modest. They are telling you exactly how long they expect the machine to survive without a problem. A 1-year warranty is a confession dressed up as a selling point. If the machine has a sealed drum, meaning there is no provision for bearing replacement independently of the tub assembly, you are buying a machine with a built-in expiration date. The manufacturer knows it, the repair technician knows it. The only person who does not know it is standing in the store holding a brochure about spin speeds. Check the warranty, check the drum. That is the whole framework. The brands that are actually built to last. So if the majority of what is on the floor at Australian appliance retailers is engineered to fail, what should you actually buy? Here is what repair professionals in this country actually recommend. Number 3, LG. I know you are probably skeptical. I was too. But here is the specific reason LG earns a place on this list. Their direct drive motor connects straight to the drum without a belt or pulley system. Fewer moving parts means fewer failure points. LG backs the direct drive motor with a 10-year warranty, which tells you something about how confident they are in it. Choice Magazine and independent Australian repair data consistently put LG's service rate among the lowest of any brand with significant market share here. The direct drive system is a genuine engineering decision, not a marketing one. Number 2, Miele. This is the premium pick and the price reflects it. You are looking at between $2,000 and $3,000 for a Miele washing machine. I know. But here is what that money buys you. Miele tests every machine for 10,000 hours before it leaves the factory. That is the equivalent of 20 years of regular home use. They commit to making spare parts available for at least 15 years after a model launches. Not 3 to 5 years, 15. People who buy Miele tend to keep them for 2 decades. I have spoken to repair technicians who say Miele callouts are rare enough that when one comes in, the technician actually finds it interesting as a novelty. Number 1. This is the one I genuinely love telling people about because almost nobody in Australia knows it. Speed Queen. Speed Queen makes the machines you have been using at laundromats your entire life. Every coin-operated commercial machine you have ever used at a laundrette is a Speed Queen. They make a residential version built on the exact same commercial-grade platform. They test every unit for over 10,400 wash cycles. That is the equivalent of 25 years of home use. The TR7 model comes with a 7-year full warranty, the best in the industry anywhere in the world. The machines are built in Ripon, Wisconsin, with stainless steel tubs and mechanically simple designs that any competent technician can work on. They start at around 1,200 Australian dollars and top out around 1,500 Australian dollars for the flagship model. Honestly, this is the detail that made me fall in love with this whole story in the first place. The best washing machine you can buy for your home has been sitting in every laundrette in every suburb in this country for decades. It has been washing strangers' clothes 6 days a week, 300 days a year for 15 years without a sealed drum failure. And almost nobody buying a home machine knows it exists. Spending $1,200 once beats spending $700 3 times. The maths over 25 years makes every other brand on the floor look expensive. Here is the bottom line. Your washing machine was designed to fail. The replacement sitting next to it on the showroom floor was designed to fail too. The sealed drum, the plastic outer tub, the 3-year parts window, the 1-year warranty. None of that is an accident. It is the product. It is the revenue model. The only way out is to buy from the brands that still build for durability over disposability. Check the warranty, check the drum, and remember that $1,200 once is a completely different financial decision to $700 every 8 years for the rest of your life. Before you go, drop a comment right now. How long did your last washing machine last? I am genuinely curious whether the data matches what real Australians are experiencing. I am betting most of you are going to say somewhere between 5 and 7 years. If this saved you from an expensive mistake, subscribe to Broken Australia, because next week we are going inside the walls of new construction homes and exposing exactly what your builder installed behind the drywall and why it is already failing. That one made me genuinely angry. I will see you there.